Okay, but we also must be appreciative of the fact that it is not just the Christians alone who actually are in leadership position in the country. So you are making your own position because you are a reverend Christian gentleman. Therefore, you are looking at it from that angle. But how about others from other faith? So how do we define the relationship between what the, as it were, the Christians in quote are doing in governance and what those ones are doing in governance?
Well, the faith actually affects one's life perception and one's attitude and characters. In some other religion or some other, but really I want to clarify this, Christianity is not a religion. Christianity is a way of life. Religion is what you do to please God. Christianity is what God did to please man. So it's opposite. So if therefore you are a Christian, Christ must first of all be in your life, because that is actually what, and the life you are now living is a new life, which Christ himself is the one dictating your pace, dictating your attitude. You get all the time instruction from him to do whatever you are doing. Persecution is not taken out of you, because he said in the world you have troubles, but be of good cheer because I have overcome the world. So, but in other faith, it's a different ball game. For instance, particular faith said, when you kill, when you get to heaven, you get virgin. So, killing therefore
is allowed.
So, when you are expanding your faith, you can go ahead. Anyone you find on the way, and when they are in places, and one thing I know is that there are certain faith, certain religion in this country, you will always find them establishing their center in the most notable, the most center of anywhere that they are, because they are concerned about governance. Once you have the governance in your hand, then you can do anything. Then your religion can say it's true. This is what the Christian faith had not seen initially, that it is there that you can do a lot more to expand. Because what we have these days is that you have Christian leaders that are expanding their own kingdom, other than the kingdom of the living Jehovah, and everything revolves around them, other than the society in which they are.
Yes.
You know, the society in which we are. But we still have large number. But it is that the church is just waking up to our responsibility.
Okay, I like to hold on to that, the fact that the church is now awake, to national issues. Now, the question will be this. We have so far dwelt on leadership, but I think followership is as duty-bound as leadership. Therefore, if the leaders are being castigated for not living their faith, how about the followers?
In Nigeria, the situation is such that poverty has been a very, very great bane. People hustling to have a living. So when you have faith, you have opportunity of working somewhere, and that's where you cut your bread, and you discover that there is a challenge between either holding that bread or losing part
hungry
of your pay.
Yes, or going hungry.
10 days you say, okay, I will ask God to forgive me, and you people therefore they're trying to compromise in one way or the other. So largely membership know what to do, but they are constrained because of poverty. If the level of Nigerians are raised, and that's where we call about governance, those in government are amassing so much to themselves, and they are wasting it. Teacher Ann told me about what a billion is. He said, if you are spending 1,000 every day out of a billion, it will take you 3,000 years to finish 1 billion. Then you start wondering,
are you going to live that long?
Those amassing so much of this billion, what for? And it's not there for them to enjoy. It's for those who don't even know to come and waste. So why couldn't this then be available for Nigerians? So that, for instance, you have so many youth without job.
Yes.
Why couldn't this government make it such that whoever is excessively rich, out of such is taken and given to the poor? Anyone that is not working should be able to amass a means so that they don't steal, so that they don't go about robbing and so that I don't still start seeing all that we are seeing in terms of terrible happening in our country.
Okay, now it is that terrible happening that, again, many people have actually, well, they have expressed, so much dismay, because one would have expected that the churches, or the faith-based organizations would have dramatic influences on people where they are situated. Right now, we have many more. In every 4 kilometers, you find about 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 churches. And yet, in every 1 to 2 kilometers, you find almost an army of either hoodlums, unemployed, angry young persons, and all that and all that. So why is that happening?
Well, let me give you an example. When we were making a branch, my church is in Oshodi, Liberation Chapel, 18 Adeyemi Street. When we were trying to make a branch inside Oshodi Market, I was at 11 Oshodi, very close to the post office, where these hoodlums exist. We knew their base, and we went there. And we were trying to let them know this kind of life is not worthy. And to the glory of God, we got 2 of them. And they said it is because we are hungry. So we got 2 of them. We were giving them money. We employed a pastor to stay with them on a daily basis. After the 2nd month, one of them came and said, "Sorry, sir, I can't stay here. The money you are giving me cannot buy me the kind of clothes I do wear. Yes, you give me food, but I don't think going out one time, I have far more." And we tried to cancel him. With time, you will get over this. The 2nd or 3rd day, he disappeared. But the other one that stays later became an evangelist. It's in the system. You see, the churches, at times, they do a little they could, but then most of the time too, our church leaders want to build cathedral. And if you want to build a cathedral, you need your members to gather money to build the cathedral. And this cathedral will gullible so much of money, and the leaders are being made to be comfortable.
Whereas,
so it is, even the have-not are gathering into the purse to be able to make the cathedral and the leader well. These are issues that the church also must address.
okay, now in addressing that, now we that will spill over to the larger society, therefore, because the church itself is just a micro element of the entire society.
Yes, yes.
Now, you have already laid on the table the question of the quality of leadership that we get. Now, if Christians, or disciples as it were, the real Christians now, if they were going to occupy any political leadership, who will put them there? How would they get the opportunity to serve?
That is the trouble right now. If you are not in political party, you can't be in government. And the process of the evolving process in the political party right now is in the hand of you. And these powerful people do not want to release the power in their hand. And the Bible clearly makes us to understand, he that wants to sit the greater than he, a strong man must be greater than he. The process is such that it's schooled to be ensured that the leaders only pick those that they want. So this Christian you're talking about right now, unless they themselves see that they want to deliver this nation, gather themselves together, united enough, because there are 2 sets of people in this country that can change things. First is the youth. The number of youth in this nation can deliver Nigeria. If only they can come together, pick one of them, agree, don't talk about either religion, don't talk about state, don't talk about ethnicity, talk about want to have a deliverance.
Yes.
Like Gideon did. So if they now decide, well, we have seen leadership in this one, because in every society, God has given a leader. When the leader is not allowed to rule, everybody will suffer. But when somebody who is a servant, who is a slave, decide to take the gun and rule, everybody is in trouble. You know what servant and slave need to be doing? To protect you.
Yes.
When they want to protect you, now become your master. You know what can happen. They are not trained, they are not given to lead. And so you have all kinds of situations. So if the youth, if possible, can unite, bring one of them who has the gift of God of leadership, And then they all, whatever party it is, there are so many parties in Nigeria. So if the first two ones are not good enough, go and pick one that is a dullard or something and is struggling to get recognition. I say, unless you give me this, I'm not coming in. I have this crowd. They will allow. And all of you on the day of election, go straight and go and vote. If, again, the system will not be boggled down the way they do, but you fight.
But Reverend, there are already too many ifs.
Yes.
That now it will appear as if this many will never be,
it's
finished.
the journey of 1,000 kilometers starts in one day.
Step. Okay.
Once you pick the step and it's the right step, it may be long. You will get there one day. But it's not something that immediately you start, you get
the result.
Okay. But progressively, you be okay now. They're taking care of the youths.
Yes.
God, they have potency,
yes,
which is not being
used before.
harnessed. Then the other one is the church. If I have the church more than anybody else, for instance, the church in Lagos, if they decide that now some of them are crying, we want Christian governor, you don't need to beg for Christian governor. You only need to take one of you. The leaders must agree.
Yes.
Agree and say we must deliver this state from all these hoodlum, these terrible rulers. We have someone here, a wonderful administrator, someone that will be sold totally to Jesus, someone that is not looking for things here on earth but there in heaven, someone who knows that when he is dead, all his cars, all his houses will not be buried with him, and that what he does there is what we can for him over there. And they pick such a one, and they all gather themselves on the day of, nobody must sleep. Let me give you an example. The 2011 election, the census of Lagos was 9.2 or whatever. Those who registered were over 6 million. But actually those who voted were 1.8. So if we can now, the church, I believe, can garner up to 1 million votes. Go there and deliver the vote. Whoever you put there will be there. But because we don't have that unity, this leader will be the one. They want to be the one. This is say it's my church, my denomination. That's the trouble we have. But if they could look at Nigeria as a project.
First.
Yes. Look at this country that needs deliverance. Look at Jesus, who has come to suffer on a day like this, gave his life. And the church decided to make a project and say, well, we want. And they pull resources together. They will deliver any of the states, apart from the north. From the southern state, they can. And then let those one now rule. Let's see Christness.
They are going to set.
Let's see Christness in their activity. And it will not be difficult for anybody else to say you must come back. Like we're talking about the man in Lagos. If there's a need to have a third term.
It will have been given a third term.
Yeah.